Mr. Vishal Jain, partner at EY, to please come up on stage for delivering his keynote address. Sir joined EY in 2001 after completing his MBA in Telecom Management from our very own SITM. And then, during a career spanning more than 14 years, Sir worked at various IT and network security projects for telecom giants across the globe. Sir is presently leading risk advisory for telecom in India, Middle East, and Africa. Sir is a certified information system security professional. And Sir has wide range of experience in telecom security, data privacy, maturity assessment, and benchmarking assessments for leading telecom and technology clients across the globe. Sir is also the privacy leader for EY India. Sir is a certified information privacy professional and has led large privacy engagements across sectors and was instrumental in setting up the data privacy services portfolio for EY India. In July 2013, Sir was inducted as partner at EY, a feat we are all proud of. He was also the recipient of the SITM Star Alumnus Award in the year 2013. Sir, we welcome you at SITM. May I request Sir to kindly preside over the session and share his views on the topic, Top Telecom Trends in 2015.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's really nice to be back in the campus. It's been quite some time that last I attended the Telecom seminar. Thanks again for calling me for this topic, and I'm really fond of the new transformation, whatever is happening in the telecom sector, so to speak on that. And I think the speakers before have covered a lot of insights in terms of the things, the changes on the telecom environment and the entire ecosystem. What I plan to focus here is largely on the, still talking about on the restricting to the telecom service provider, and then how the related ecosystem and the various players in the, who are attached to the telecom systems are, telecom providers are actually evolving. So a brief agenda would be, we'll try to setting up the context, present day ecosystem, how does it look like, what are the top trends. I will not bore you with trends and statistics too much on that. Enabling mobile financial services, big data monetization, IoT, and then large focus on the risk, which I believe and is my personal interest in that as well. Talk about what are the major risks, especially on the security and the privacy side. And that becomes the most critical part when we see the entire transformation which is happening on the telecom side. The whole objective in the next 30 minutes, I'll try to touch upon the topics which you will see a detailed either presentation or panel discussion in the next 1.5 days. So the idea was, I was told that if we can set up the context of the seminar, so we'll touch upon the broad topic where you can have a detailed discussions in the panel discussions in the next 2 days. So what we are seeing is the way things are changing. So what we saw was the telecom was initially a development enabler, and we say that it's expanding rapidly across the you can say product and technology services companies, and it was it was being used as an enabler to the you can say various companies to provide technology, to provide connectivity. But we are seeing that the things are changing now, and the telecom operators are now more focusing on the how to innovate the new digital ecosystem, how the equipments, how the services or connectivities needs to be changed or designed. There are a lot of joint ventures, whether it could be a VAS provider, it could be a content provider, it could be the technology players, maybe on the IT side, they are coming together and they are trying to provide a larger solution, not only restricted to the basic, you can say voice services or SMS, which we used to see earlier. We are also seeing there are a lot of effort going in terms of monetizing the infrastructure. When we see that it's more with respect to the telecom companies continually trying to monetize more new capabilities. For example, we saw that the location-based services already coming up. There are mobile apps which are getting developed. There are other, you can say, the entire redesigning of the network architecture, whether it's be it on the regulatory challenges which they face on the interference, on the you can say you can say tower related issues, the tenant issues, tenancy issues and all that, still the customer experience needs to be enhanced. So a lot of focus is now getting more from just being an enabler to providing enhanced services, but actually improving the experience side. And because of the vast, you can say, experience or the customer base which the telcos have, this becomes all the more important and critical. And now it's no more the price war or the rate war, the tariff which will drive whether I need to be part of the operator A or operator B. It's actually the experience, and we are all talking and seeing around the news when we talk about, we see there's a lot of issues with respect to the call drops, quality issues and network signal not being available, a lot of blind spot. So that is actually driving in from, as a customer, I was also evaluating, okay, which operator to go with, because I have been with one particular operator, and the trigger was more to do with the enhancement of the services. So do I restrict to say 2G or a 3G, or should I actually go for a 4G type of an environment? And that is the trigger where the customer experience becomes important. And the last, when we see the another part is the impact of the entire digitization. So the entire mass adoption of the digital technologies, we talk about applications by consumer enterprise, government continues focus on the telecom infrastructure, where they are saying, okay, let's move into the digital space, everything going digital. Even the enterprise, the normal companies which we say, they were just using telecom either as a communication with their customers or employees or hosting a website. But now the companies are actually thinking of getting into the digital space, where they are going into a paperless office and more communication which is entirely, you can say, digitally enhanced and not restricting to the normal conventional processes which they have. There are a lot of, I would say, stress given by the government on the digital India. We all know about it, Make in India, Digital India. So that's where I would say the entire the ecosystem is changing. So moving from telecom operator to related telecom players like VAS, content providers, and other from the application who are developing telecom application, the time has come where the telecom sector is actually started impacting the other sector. So it's no more restricted to a telco ecosystem or a sector, but the financial sector, when we talk about the manufacturing sector, even the government sector and other industrial sector is also getting merged, and they are all playing together. And that's where we talk about the digital money, we talk about financial inclusions, we talk about Make in India, we see Internet of Things. So all these sectors are coming together, and telecom becoming like a linkage for all the other sectors. And that's the way we are looking at it. It is no more restricted to only telco as a service provider or operator, but it is actually a larger somebody who is a sector which is very instrumental in driving the larger economy, which is impacting other sector also. So that's the transition which we are, I would say, we are fortunate that we are witnessing that, the change which is happening. So what we see is some of what will be the future of telecom. I think Provision has captured some of the very nice insights about the research, and really thankful to touching upon some of the very key areas. What we see, there are a lot of change we'll see on the industry sector side, commitment towards net neutrality. We are seeing the merge between the fixed and the mobile. It's almost, people are like directly connected one-to-one. The fixed anyway is going down. We saw that in the prediction as well. The usage is becoming more seamless across the communication channel. It's no more a voice or a data or SMS, but it could be anything, because now email is also on a handset. So that is the level of, you can say, the communication is actually across various media and not restricted to one type of a delivery channel. On the services side, we are actually seeing the fixed line going down, and the growth is more on the shared communication capabilities. We see on the enterprise side a lot of unified communication. The companies are actually moving towards, you can say, a unified communication where while talking, you can immediately start your video conversation, or you can start going into a chat rather than just having a conference call attached. Companies are pushing people not to travel and just do more of a telepresence, VC, or on a even as a peer-to-peer communication. We are seeing a lot of applications which are being used, which are more of a, you can say, video calls and other stuff. On the access side, well, the good penetration or good on the smartphone side, we have seen a lot of new end user devices and very smartphone, which is a new one, which new capabilities and a reduced cost, which is coming up in the market. In fact, before the presentation, someone was asking me the question, how do we see the role of smartphone in the entire ecosystem? I think it's the most important part of it. You can bring the entire infrastructure to the user, but if they are not able to use it in a really exploit it in a easy and a simpler way, then it's very difficult. They were asking about what is the where does India have the capability to spend on smartphones? Now there are two parts to it. The way I separate this question would be that spending capacity and spending attitude, I'll keep this two different aspects. Spending attitude has definitely changed. People are willing to shell out a slightly larger or marginal more money to buy a good handset. Not when I say good means only limited to the brand, but it's more with the capability. And the capability also, there are 2 or 3 features which are very, you can say, prominent, which drives me to buy a handset, a battery life, or it has to be a large screen, it has to be a more memory, and these are some 3-4 features. Rest of the feature, I don't even know the major mass people really use it or not. So there is a change in the attitude or spending attitude on the handset side. At the same time, from the seller side, people who are developing new handset or the companies which are coming with new smartphones, they are actually reducing the cost as well so as to match. So somewhere there is a good handshake which is happening between the buyer and the seller, where good featured smartphones are actually available, you can say, as an affordable cost, but I will give it more to a spending attitude. And we'll see that as we see in next 1 year, when the new operators and new players will come into the market, either on the services side or handset side, this handshake will become much more stronger, and smartphone will play an important role. I'll not go too much on the detail on the business model, but yes, voice is no more is the only, you can say, a revenue earning thing. It's more of voice is being as one of the feature, how to use the voice. It could be on a voice on LTE, voice over data, and there will be more of a increased usage of data, whether it's a fixed line. When I say fixed, I'm not restricting to PSTN fixed line, but it could be an FTTX, it could be your direct to home communication, it could be anything, but also on the mobile. So the data, irrespective whether if I'm outside, I'm getting into the, you can say, telecom network side, but when I'm home, I'm there into the Wi-Fi hotspot space. There are players who will be launching services, and they will be coming up where you will not realize the seamless transition which happens from the network to a hotspot and while you are talking. You will suddenly see a use case type of a scenario where you make a call and you walk out of the house, your network has shifted from your local home network of Wi-Fi to a large city network of the telecom network side. And if you enter a shopping mall, you are back into the Wi-Fi space of the shopping complex. And during that entire conversation interaction, you might actually see that while talking, you can actually share a file, and he can open directly, and you can start having that conversation on the file sharing mode or a data sharing mode. So all these together is no more a very dreamy thing. It's very much possible. And some of the corporates, we are actually using it while on the move, and we use it very effectively. So that's the change which we are seeing. And obviously, this all backed by other some of the, you can say, related services on the OTT side, financial, digital money. We'll come to the some of the, you can say, constraint or the focus areas which would be challenging in order to have this scenario. So the present day ecosystem, earlier what we used to see was only the mobile operator providing connectivity, but it's no more dominant only by mobile operator, but we see the content service provider where the lot of application and contents being developed. We see a good role being played by the device maker, which are on the user interface, and it's more on the smartphone side. And we see there are a lot of support services, whether it's being to the payment platforms or mobile applications or the operating systems, and there's a war which is actually going on. We see virtually when you used to have an open source Linux or a Microsoft Windows. A similar one situation we see where we have iPhone and we have Android, a similar thing which has moved to a handset side. So this is the current, you can say, present day ecosystem. And the top trends, though I'll not go to too many trends, but the large one, 4G to become the mainstream in India as well. And we have already seen that 300 cities roll out on the LTE side. And soon we have all know that there are players who will be coming, launching 4G in a big manner, big manner. And we may see another change in the entire consumer market side where the price of the handset, the people using phone, whether for voice or actually making a video call, those things will become much more easy. Bandwidth will no more be a constraint. And there are pitfalls to it. There are a lot of challenges on the security, privacy side, which comes along with these trends. Public Wi-Fi emerging as a bigger phenomenon. In fact, if you see the Digital India campaign, one of the pillars is dedicated to public Wi-Fi. And that again, we see a lot of focus getting into public Wi-Fi, which also helps to take care of some of the spectrum side issue, taking the infrastructure towards the rural area where it is difficult to take the, you can say the network infrastructure to the deep villages. So we can actually create a hotspot type of environment and that will help. Wearables in healthy lifestyle space and security apps for smartphones. So we see a lot of health devices we see people wearing and while moving on the move, how much they have traveled, how much they have walked, and those have becomes like one of the very key items selling on the internet. Smart watches, people really want to explore the new stuff. So it's not only the handset, but we have graduated from handset and moving toward the smart watch. And I see that again, a very hot selling thing. And the last one is the increased mobile banking services. Well, the payment bank's license itself has given a lot of push on the mobile services. And I'll say all these we can say various players within this entire ecosystem helps because if you see the carpooling, we talk about the taxis app and we talk about the social media, all these buying, online shopping, everything is actually triggering the mobile wallet concept. And with payment banks coming here and financial inclusion being the agenda, I think the entire mobile banking services is certainly increasing. And it's no more of people are not hesitated or afraid of whether they should use mobile banking or not. There are a good amount of people who are really, we can say, worried whether it's safe or not, but I still say the utility and the friendliness which is given by these mobile app and the other services is actually overcoming that, helping in overcoming that fear, and people are starting using it. And obviously, there are a lot of security initiatives taken by the service provider to take care of these areas. In fact, I will request each of you, especially the students, please start using the technology. It's good to hear all the new stuff which other speakers have talked about on the IoT side and other, but I would request really start using to the extent possible you can. I don't know, how many of you actually use mobile wallet as a peer-to-peer transfer? Can you raise your hand, please? See, very limited. You guys are from Symbiosis Institute of Telecom Management. I think you should be using it. How many of you actually you have done online shopping using a mobile app? Ah, that's a good one. And how many of you have actually a mobile banking app on your phone? And what do you use for? Is it for only for mobile shopping, right? Okay, great. That's fine. So I think good. That's a very nice thing. But the other part where I think it's peer-to-peer is the wallets and all. You should start using it. Similarly, on the IoT side, well, there's still a lot of penetration which is required from an IoT as a use case perspective. But still, wherever possible, you should start using it. The moment it gets into a habit now, when you are a student, once you are moved out of the corporate, you can be the one who will be teaching to other enterprise and creating the larger customer base. So with these top trends, I'll quickly focus on 3-4 important topics, where obviously you will have detailed discussions in the next 2 days. So we see on the mobile financial services, we already see that a lot of, you can say, unbanked and underbanked consumers have mobile phones. So there is already a good amount of penetration of mobile phones, data connectivity, and phones, handsets, which are smartphones. So all these three enablers are anyway there with majority of people. Now the only thing which left is to start using from the financial side. So first of all, bringing the instruments and the, you can say, channel to the individual, that is already there, which is a good thing. So we already have a mobile technology available with most of the people. Then comes mobile technology can be used to improve customer experience. So we have solution providers, they are partnering with the, you can say, for the banks and other non-profit organization on the literacy side and financial inclusion area. So the next step is that we should start creating awareness of using wallets, using the bank, mobile banking, and that's how we'll start slowly start moving into the financial inclusion part of it and using the mobile financial services. In fact, we were having this one of the industry association body, they have a separate program, I think NASSCOM has a separate program on digital literacy. So that's very good, and we're having this discussion with the NASSCOM's this division's head, and he was talking about that they have a program where they educate people on how to use mobile phones and the digital literacy. But the problem is, you will see majority of people, they will have all the good handsets with, I'll say, a low brand or unbranded type of handset on the smartphone side. But still they are using either to store movies or to watch, do Facebook or any social media app, but they are not going beyond that. So how to use it and making them literal to use it for a better purpose of the ease of life from an IoT aspect, from a mobile financial aspect, now that is something missing, and that is the one of the key aspect which we have to focus on is on the digital literacy part. And digital literacy, when I say, has two parts to it. One would be the actual usage of the digital handsets or the equipments in a way which will be helpful for me. The other is even for us. So people all of you who know how to use smartphone is good. That is one part you have already done. But level 2 is more important, is the right use of it, which is more from a security and privacy perspective. I don't know how many of you have actually gone to a social media site or any other, you can say, mobile app, and you have actually gone ahead and enabled or disabled the features based on your privacy preferences or security preferences. Majority of time, once you have logged in from your handset and you enable, by default, it asks for remembering the password, and most of the time I have seen people remembering the password. They don't want to enter every time. These are very small stuff, but if your handset is lost, and then it's a big issue from a, you can say, security point of view. Similarly, whenever we install an application, we see it asks for that this application will have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 features of the handset, and we have nothing but to do accept, and you do it. At times, and I don't know so my suggestion would be that some of the times we can actually limit the preferences which the access which a mobile application is asking for, but in some of the cases where we cannot, we should actually be sure about the authenticity of that application. Coming from a security background, I'm telling you, majority of these mobile applications have backdoors and trojans which you don't even know they will be taking away your data. So that just using the smartphone is not good enough. Having the rightly using it is more important now at our level. Coming back to this, so increased use of smartphone is encouraging more financial service provider, and we see this mobile capability. So what are the new mobile banking features which we'll see? Personal financial management tools. So, I don't know if you are aware, there are a lot of tools which are applications on expense tracking. There are applications which will give you real-time updates on the stock market for your portfolio management and other stuff. So that itself becomes important here. The other could be person-to-person transfer, and that is very critical, and I would say we should start using it. And especially it's easy to use when in a student life, when we all go for a dinner, and you said, okay, what is the bill? Oh, it's 342, there are 4 people, divide by 4, and this is what. So you start sharing your 10 rupees, 20 rupees, or 30 rupees, whatever it is per head. Good, you do that, no issues. At times you're fortunate to have some jackpot party where one person funds the entire bill or dinner, which is good. But in this case, this could be a good starting point to have that peer-to-peer transfer, and this will give a hang of it. Why I'm saying not to increase the services or generate revenue out of it, but being from a telecom background, you should experience it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Unless and until you'll experience it, you will not know the potential which these type of services. If there are a lot of discussions going around as we speak, I think this week, if you go to the internet, is the most eventful week. As we speak, I already missing 2 other seminars today, which I have to attend. But my point is that everywhere they are talking about digital India, IoT, financial inclusion, mobile wallet, all the aspect, mobile app and everything. And we talk about e-commerce, startups, and all other aspects. Unless and until you experience it, you will not realize the potential. At the same time, you will not get a hang of it. At the same time, using it in a secure manner. That is the most important part. And you never know, as a byproduct, your brain will generate some other idea, and we see a lot of startups which are coming up. And that's how it comes. When the need is there, when you start using, you suddenly realize, oh, this is missing. Let me come up with something which will enhance this. And this happens. So I would suggest it's better that we start using it. Mobile remote deposit capture, then we have bill payment, alerts and account monitoring. So all these becomes very critical. Maybe at this stage you or you may not realize the potential of this, but personally as a, I would say, user, I am really, you can say, handicapped without a mobile phone. The way our schedule is, especially in the consulting profile, or I would say in these days, all the industry where we travel a lot, we are hardly at our desk, in our office, the only thing which keeps us connected is our handset with a good connectivity and data plan. And that's how we start using. So if I don't have the mobile banking or a mobile phone, sorry, there will not be any electricity at home, there will not be any water, I will be out of my society saying that you are not paid your bill. My entire transaction happened through that mobile banking stuff. And that's the level, and suddenly you'll realize that you're, so the question which I think Mr. Marwa was talking about was very critical, that are we dividing the society because of this, or are we getting too much dependent? Now that's again a very, very important aspect. It should not happen that we are only connected through Facebook and there is no face-to-face meeting at all. Another important area is data monetization. I think that's the biggest opportunity we see, and we have companies here who will be talking about in detail. So my content is only very high level limited. The panel discussion will have the detailed one, so I'm not taking any content from the next sessions. What I will focus about is there's increasing opportunity for an organization just to enhance their current services. So you don't have to go to do any market research or survey, but the data which has already been generated by you delivering the services or any company itself is good enough to plan your business and other stuff. Not only that, you can actually, what we are seeing is some of the companies, especially telcos or you can say banks, where there was a friend of mine who is into a white labeling ATM, and he called me, he said, we have white label ATMs and we see a lot of transaction which happens through the ATM. So I have enough good data in terms of which can be analyzed to see the pattern of what is the pattern and what is the way what is the behavior pattern of the transactions and other stuff. Now that data can be used by someone to plan their stuff. Can it be used? Now that is the level of, we can say, the marketing campaigns are being targeted. There are alliances where they are taking data from telcos and we are seeing how much can they leverage and what is the trend. As you can see, he very well mentioned that say Nokia generates, equipment generates a lot of data, and that data has clearly showed that the growth of the 3G. Now that is the potential which we have on the data side. Not only that, if you go to the third one where we talk about the conditions for data monetization is already there. So it's not that I have to do anything. There are a lot of structured, unstructured data. Data-driven marketing campaigns are already there. Your location-based, you can say, campaigns are there. Your mobile apps are actually sending your location, what you are doing. There are cookies enabled on the, you can say, website. So lot of data is being generated. It's just the way how you do analyze and you can plan your business. And that's the way it will be a very targeted and a predictable environment which we can create. So to sum up this data monetization, I will just talk about one aspect here. The entire data analytic transformation spectrum. The first part, enhance the current business. So you leverage the enhanced data what you have for the current business. You generate new insights from the existing data for an enterprise. You can move slightly to a next one where you can see, okay, how can I either use this data for additional services, for additional planning? It could be a geography, it could be a new service, it could be a new target segment. And then you can actually create new data by doing a focus campaign, and you can create a new sort of a new business. So this is the entire data analytics and transformation spectrum which a company can think of. And that is the potential which I would say the entire big data and the data analytics stuff also. IoT, I'll not go in detail. I think we all know good about IoT, but so only thing I'll say, yes, it is intelligently connected devices, and we should all start using, and we'll see homes and buildings, consumer electronics, remote, utilities. I mean, it's really fun at times. It's not only the utility part of it, but it's really nice when you will have a remote installed on your phone for your DTH set-top box, a very simple one, and you are sitting in one room and you are controlling the channel, you are outside and you suddenly realize, oh, I'm missing this program, let me enable the recording of it on my DTH box at home, and you can do all this stuff. It looks very exciting, and it is, at times, it is important as well. Similarly, if you go to the transportation ATM, I think it's well covered on the IoT, where we have, you can say, parking cars, and you have tracking mechanism, all those things. You have utility, where the smart metering, which is again a very important aspect, is coming up. I'll talk about one risk part of it here on this IoT. I was talking in a panel discussion on again IoT, and there in the smart, there was a gentleman who was heading the technology infrastructure for a smart city, and he said, because of IoT and everything, I have built a command control in a smart city where I can control everything of that city. I said, that's very good. From a security angle, I'm saying it's very good, because then I don't have to breach into houses. I have to just breach into one command control, and then everything will be compromised. So that is the challenge which it faces. So everything has a positive and negative. The good part of is that lot of friendly and utility which comes here, but the sad part of it that to one, at a security level, you are centralizing and connecting. So if I breach into one, I can actually move around and take control of many other stuff. People who have seen this movie called Die Hard 4 long back, and that was the thought. I don't think they knew the IoT was even coined at that point of time, but that is scenario has become very easy these days. Large group companies who have varied business right from telecom to any other manufacturing and they have the common infrastructure. As a security consultant, their biggest concern, and they have asking us, is how to ensure that when my telecom subscriber are not able to walk through my other group businesses and taking control of the plant. Now that is the fear which they are going with, because bandwidth is no more a constraint. For me, launching an attack, being availability of the signal network is very easy now. So that's the only pitfall on the IoT, but definitely it's good. So coming to the major risk in the telecom, this is one of the EY report. We carry out this top 10 risk every year. And this is one of them where it talks about some of the risk is on the failure to realize new roles in the evolving ecosystems, lack of regulatory, and that's most critical one, especially on the security and privacy side. The regulations are still weak. Lack of performance measurement to drive execution, data integrity and drive growth and efficiency, and ignoring new imperatives in privacy and security, and that becomes as one of the top 3 risks if you see on the security and privacy side. On the strategic, we have failure to understand what customers value, because we see a different, so we have different types of customers, and everybody has a different habit of using these services. So it's very difficult to see which customer is liking what, though we have enough big data analysis done, but then still it's still at a stage where we really don't know what customer would like to go for. Failure to adopt new routes to innovation. If you're not, then somebody else will be doing that. It's very easy. Poorly defined inorganic growth agenda, inability to extract value from network assets, and I think that's the biggest challenge with the telecom operators are also facing on the monetization or getting the true value from the infrastructure with all the constraint, whether it comes from the tower side, tenancy side, you can see radiation side, regulatory aspect, and the demographic and the geographic locations which they have to keep on replanning, new building comes up, new customer base, a lot of challenges which they face. Apart from that, this is the my favorite topic, and both as a user and as a professional. There are a lot of vulnerabilities arising due to Internet of Things. As I mentioned, you have customer records, you have your mobile numbers, your PI stands for personally identifiable information. All that information, any personal information which will narrow down to you or which is unique to you. It could be your medical record, it could be your ID card, it could be your passport number, financial records, anything. So when everything is on your handset, when everything is on your internet, we are talking about a cloud-based services. We talk about digital lockers, we talk about the cloud drives, hard drives which we have, and we have a tendency to upload it. We have signing mechanism with one single name, username, password. And we have a tendency, who will remember so many username and passwords, so we tend to keep the same password. And as a security consultant, I really find it good for me to easy, okay, if I break one password, I know it will be around the same thing. Now these are and that's where I was talking about the right use of it. So don't keep the same password. A small tip here, you build a logic around it, which the password has a formula which is related to the site or an application which you are using it. So that way you don't have to remember, but at the same time, it is different for different sites. The logic is only remembered by you. So you can say that my password at this site. Now you can add could be AT, ampersand, or at the rate, but the site name will be the first three letters of the site or the app. Now that logic, if you apply, then your password will be different, but at the same time, it's not same. So that's the good part. Then you have a huge amount of data which you are leaving on the cloud, especially when you are doing online shopping, you are doing social media tracking, you are doing a lot of storing, you can say, your documents. And not only that, apart from, forget the digital part of it. When you hand over any document for your ID proof or your address proof, that can also be misused, and that are being misused actually. And we have seen, again, a small tip. So my sessions are generally, I want to make sure that everybody transact in a secure manner. A small tip, whenever you give any photocopy of your ID proof or address proof, somewhere within that box where there is a blank space, you better write it, this is for this particular use only, and sign it and the date. So that tomorrow if it is reused, you can very well say it was not given for this purpose, and you can actually have something to go back and dispute on. And maybe at times you can question why somebody is asking that details. And it happens that courier guys, they at times ask for your passport copy before delivering any courier. Not necessary. You can say that no, it's not necessary, and it is not always necessary. You are not supposed to leave your credit card number, expiry date, and CVV on any phone and any form. Either it's online, hard copy, or any application form, any giving standing instructions. As per the global regulations, you are not supposed to. And many of us, we don't know. When we give any particular manual entry of credit card, we give the expiry number and we give the CVV. You should not be giving it. It's not mandatory. Only credit card number can be shared. That's it. So that's the level of right use which we are talking about. And on the enterprise side, we say a lot of these privacy breaches, which India, we don't know. We have still graduated a lot in last 3 years. We started now understanding what is privacy. Earlier, when we say private something, which means limited to my bedroom or living room, everything else is okay. Private means only that which nobody should know. But now privacy, the entire privacy story has moved from bedroom to boardroom. Everybody is starting understanding the concept of privacy. Monitoring, profiling, discrimination, so that is again, which as an enterprise level, you have to, with a lot of focus on what is being going out, the lot of data leakage tools which are implemented, so they keep track of personal information. Lack of transparency, as I said, at times user keep on sharing some data, but they don't know where the data is going, why are they asking for. So that is another concern. Loss of control, especially on the services side, services company, be it a telecom operator or a bank, we see a lot of issue because of the, you can say, third parties coming into picture, business partner, a lot of things are outsourced. So you don't have control on some of the stuff. Now that is very critical. Improper data masking, again, it's more on the privacy side. So these are the risks which I would say, as I say, regulation in India is still weak, and there we are expecting a privacy bill to come. Hopefully things should change then. Threats from third-party providers, we don't have any control as an organization, and then you have to rely on their side of story. Bring your own devices, data destruction, bad analytics. When I say bad analytics means you are not sanitizing or anonymizing the data properly, and you are actually you are not storing it in a secure manner. And we recently saw one of the breaches where all people, the Ashley Madison stuff, and this all privacy breach. So this is where the risk which I would talk about. And apart from the entire employment, profession, market growing on the digital side, on the telecom side, I think this is again one area where as a profession, a lot of this industry, because of the entire evolution of telecom, is also going, which is the security and privacy industry. So there are a lot of courses, professional certifications, tools which are coming. So as a student, I would say you can actually think on the career on this side as well. This is coming together along with the evolution. If it is coming as a risk, you can't help it. It's inherent to it. The securing it is actually a good profession as well. So to sum up the entire, I'll leave it with some of the large which I have already discussed. The phenomenon of digital revolution is enabling a new wave of life-enhancing services. So we are saying the way we live today is totally different than the way we used to live, say, 5 years or 10 years back. Things have really changing. Telecommunication has become the greatest enabler. It's no more one of the sector giving services and earning revenue. It has gone as the infrastructure. So no matter what the economy goes, telecom infrastructure will still be there. It's like a railways, or I would say any other infrastructure which we have. Telecom has graduated to that level. If telecom infrastructure is not there, it's a huge impact which will happen across any other sector or an entire economy. Now that is the status which the telecom has taken. Increasing penetration of smartphone and accessibility of internet has aided mobile financial services to gain traction. And it's just a matter of time. I think within 2 to 3 years, we all will be more of, from a, say, currency to a plastic money, we'll see a digital money very easily now. I don't see too much of issue on that. The rising digital quotient of the country has transformed the way we live and communicate. So we are also seeing on the digital literacy part, people are getting aware of using handsets and mobiles and smartphones. It's just a matter that we have to bridge the gap of using it in a right manner rather than just using it. And the last one, a lot of unstructured data or unutilized data, which is as a customers or we are leaving on the say service provider or the company, and that can be used in a very nice manner. At the same time, it has to be cautiously used so as to ensure the privacy and security of an individual and the organization. I think with these thoughts, I want to conclude here. My whole idea was to set up the entire overall picture of the telecom journey, where we see from, say, last 10 years back when I graduated from SITM and when I'm coming back to give this lecture. So I think that's the way it has changed. So next 1.5 days, I think you have excellent speakers on the panel discussions which we have on all these data monetization, other areas. You please make a good use and utilize that. You should have a lot of questions to them. I don't have time. You can connect me offline. I can answer your questions. Thank you so much. And thanks SITM for calling me. It's really nice.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us your valuable experiences and insights. I now invite my colleague to felicitate sir with a memento as a token of our gratitude.